Yes. Hello, 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 everyone. Yes, yes. कल से start है वो. Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. I hope everything is going fine with all. Okay. I just wanted to look at things. अभी एट कोड का क्वेश्चन कर रहा था और मैसेज आ गया. Okay, very nice, very nice. Today we'll be discussing thought process. Yes, we'll be discussing a little bit about thought process. I have around an hour, and I thought like I'll discuss certain ideas that are super important, and I feel most people don't really think about DSA CP in this way. And I feel probably I am good because I probably think about problems in these directions. Okay. So that's what I want to discuss today. Like, we could have done a usual discussion, contest discussion. I think the title is wrong. Probably I just put the next few numbers, but it seems that the next weekly and bi-weekly scheduled today. So it doesn't really happen. So we'll just take the last contest. But my purpose for today is to actually go about problems and try to think about certain things. I studied your DP workshop, and if I get an offer from Google, I'll let you know. Okay, so super happy. I'm unable to solve min swap question. How can I improve that pattern? Yeah, we'll look at it. We'll look at it. Okay. I'm just gonna share my screen. Today we're gonna talk about a very, very different thing. Like, I am not today on this stream to solve lead code problems. Uh, this stream is mostly about understanding how to think about problems and how to solve questions from first principles. I think many people kind of give this word, कि विवेक first principles से सोचना and all. Essentially, it just talks about trying to build three things in a problem. Okay, I'll give you some idea today about that. कि विवेक, I'll give you three things that if you do properly in a problem, there is a much bigger chance of you solving that question. Okay, I'm not able to solve yesterday's hard problem, POTD. अब yesterday का तो नहीं लेंगे. Let's see. Maybe we might. Okay. So this was the last weekly contest. I just wanted to take some questions, and maybe we'll try to discuss some ideas around these, and that's there. But more than this, I feel what I want to talk about today is, Vivek, when you see a problem, like suppose you open lead code or you open any site, let's say Code Forces, and there is a screen that opens which says question, name, bunch of description, input, output, and you start reading, right? Okay. You start reading the question. And I think everybody is decently good or decently good in English. So I think everybody can read a problem statement in 0 to 5 minutes, somewhere around this, right? What I think is most people, after this first 5 minutes, head towards the wrong direction. Okay. This is what differentiates someone who is good and someone who is bad. And this is something I was talking to a student, and I realized, okay, this is something I should take on a live stream and I should discuss with more students, because he was telling me कि विवेक 5 मिनट सोचने के बाद मुझे कुछ I read the question but then I'm lost. Okay. So people say that after reading a problem I am lost कि पता नहीं क्या करना है, right? How many of you have faced this scenario that after you have read a problem, you read some parts. Dekho, missing some parts, that's like silly mistake. That's a different thing altogether. Like how to not miss certain things, that's a different thing. Okay. Silly mistakes is a different problem. What I'm talking about is many people face this. Ki they read the problem, they try to understand a little bit, but then they feel lost. This word is a very key word, and I have heard this with multiple people. Today I had a one-on-one call with a student, and he was telling me about these things. And it just struck me ki people say this word very often. Ki I feel lost. Ki kya karna hai pata nahi. And then people do all sorts of things. People try to apply random stuff. People do random things and all, right? Today, the agenda for session is essentially how to get yourself out of this lost state. Ya fir, what should be my thing that I do here, which is right, that will not lead me to a lost state. Okay. You discussing future contest? No. I just put the name quickly because I scheduled the live stream like 30 minutes ago, but then I saw that it has not yet happened. So I'll change the stream name after the stream. Right. The purpose of the stream was a very different thing. It's not really discussing thing. Okay. So what I'm discussing is after you have read the problem, there are, I feel, three things that differentiates a good, bad, average, and Vivek level coder. Okay. Okay. So Anuj is saying got selected in Harness SD. Yes, super happy. Very heartily congratulations. DP series, it really helped me a lot. Super happy that it helped. Chalo. Bad, good, average, Vivek level. Okay. Vivek, what are the three things? This is what I want to discuss today. And we'll try to maybe look at a problem and we'll try to, how to not, what to not do in this phase is what we'll talk about. Okay. So three things. I'll not like make it too long. I have exactly 1 hour. I have a meeting at 10:30. I just thought I'll put the stream and we'll discuss certain things. So three things that you need to do when you read a problem. Okay. I'm saying, what's your rating in lead code? I am unrated. I'm unrated on lead code, to be very honest. Okay. So three things that you need to do. Number one. Okay. Number two. Number three. Okay. Estimated to be 2900. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, 2300 on CF would be a lot on lead code. I think on the top it's like very thin. So maybe I don't know. These are the three things that you need to do when you read a problem. Okay. He laughs at hard problems in lead code. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यार, तुम लोग ऐसे गलत गलत चीजें मत प्रोपागेट करो प्लीज. ऑफ कोर्स दिस कम्स विद 3 hours of practice है, ऐसा नहीं है. आई एम एबल टू सॉल्व these problems so easily because of so much of practice. So don't think about this, right? Okay. So visualization, elimination, and observation generation. Okay. Now let's think about three things, and maybe we'll talk about a problem and we'll think about how to solve it, and we'll maybe like look at each of these three things with respect to a problem so that you learn how to do it. My simple thought process is, whenever I see a problem, if you see a question, there can be two things. You already know the question, then though it's very easy, right? You already know the question, you solve the question, right? But if you do not know, I don't know what this question is, you apply these three things immediately to that problem. Number one, visualization. Number two, elimination. Number three, observation generation. Nothing else. If you just blindly do these three things, you will solve many hard problems even on lead code very, very quickly. And I'll give you a live demo, right? I haven't seen the problem that had came in the last contest, and we'll try to look at something like this and maybe see how we can possibly approach a problem like this, right? How And forget about constraint, right? Forget about constraints. I don't want to even look at the constraints, and I just want to solve this problem. I don't even know how we might be able to solve it. I at this point have no idea what this question entails. But yeah, okay. How to get good at ad hoc? Okay, yeah, we'll discuss that as well. So probably what you're asking me is how to become good at this. Okay, every person has a weak spot in these three. Okay, you read, problem solve, then formulate. You do these 5 steps: code and debug. In problem solving, it's these three things that kind of work in conjunction in your brain. So you have to understand what is your weak part and you have to train that. Okay, first thing is visualization, and it is as simple as drawing what is given. Okay, you are given a binary string. Okay, and for each index I, s of 1 indicates the ideal image, sensitive, 0 means not. So there is some sensitive, non-sensitive thing. Okay, the string must be partitioned into segments, which means I have to partition it. Initially the entire thing forms a full segment. For a segment of length L consisting of x sensitive things, if x is equal to 0, the cost is flat cost. If x is greater than 1, the cost is L into x into n cost. These are two like fixed things given. X is the number of things and L is the length. Okay. So these are the three things that are essentially there. Okay. So this is what you have to do in almost every problem, because third was ad hoc. Okay. We'll discuss that problem also. Okay. Essentially, when you see a problem like this, you immediately think about, okay, I draw this. See, this is what I'm doing in my brain. Every time you see a problem like this, you see I have a string which contains 0, 1. Okay, I have to partition this partitioned into segments. If x is equal to 0 means if there is no what do you say, no 1, in that case you are going to get, like, if there is a partition like this, then it's going to get a flat cost. It's a constant number. And if you make certain partitions, for example like this, it will get L into x into enclosed cost. So there is an enclosed cost multiplied by x into L. X is in this case equal to 4, sorry, and L is equal to 5, the length. This is the first thing that you do in any problem. Okay. This is the thing that you have to draw. This is the first step, which is visualization, that you have to first draw. Because ये text देख के तो कोई solve नहीं कर सकता. You can never read a text like this and you can solve a problem. I cannot believe that somebody reads the text like this and they are able to solve a question. It's extremely hard. Okay. If you draw this well, you can possibly solve this problem. Okay. This is what all of visualization means. Question पढ़ो, उसको simple diagram में draw करो. Okay. Problem link, this is the last contest, last question. Okay. It doesn't even matter which problem we are solving, just read the problem on the screen. This is the visualization step. Okay. Visualization. Next step is elimination. Okay. Yeah, I absolutely agree. How many of you are clear कि visualization में क्या करना है? I think you guys all understand this at this point कि visualization मतलब what's n cost? It's a constant value given in the question. एक s n cost and flat cost दिया हुआ है question में, right? If I read it correctly, these are constant values given in the problem. Okay. Clear everyone? The second step that I generally do for almost every problem is elimination. Okay. This problem talks about few keywords. If you see this problem, there are few keywords. There is an array which needs to be partitioned. Okay. There is a partitioning happening in this. The next thing that you can try to think about is there is some cost of segment related to this, right? There is some segment cost that is being involved in this problem, which might be helpful. Then you can think of, okay, we have to minimize the total possible cost. So it's a minimization problem. This is something that I have talked about in my classes also, that there are only two types of problems. Number one, there is something called as optimization problem. And the second is, what is the second one? Combinatorial problem. Okay, it's a combinatorial problem. Okay. No, ad hoc means is a different category. I don't think most questions come in that category. Okay. Combinatorial problem क्या होता है? You have to count, find the number of ways, find what is the best thing that you can do. Like find the number of ways is generally the type of problems where you have to add possibilities, right? And in optimization problems, what have you seen before? There are topics like binary search, two pointers might help you in optimizing, but I don't think it's a direct optimization topic, right? Greedy can be a topic that helps you to find minimum maximum. DP can be a topic. There is obviously no graph in this question, so there is no possibility of graph. This problem is a minimum maximum problem, which means it's an optimization problem. Optimization problems are generally either binary search, greedy, DP. It might be maths, it might be some expression writing and finding some maths from it. But it is generally one of these topics only. It's one of these topics. Or it might be some constructive ad hoc, which I would keep it in greedy. Okay. I would keep it in greedy only. Greedy, ad hoc, all these stuff. Okay. So optimization problems generally kind of consider these things when you're dealing with partitioning, cost of segment, all this stuff is there. You have possibly these four topics. इसके बाहर कुछ हो सकता है. The constructive would come in greedy only. But ये चार ही हो सकता है ना. मतलब as a topic, broad level problem solving topic that you have read, can it be anything except these four? It might be, but it is unlikely. Like if I rank them, these would be the top four. बाकी सब भी हो सकता है, but they are highly unlikely, right? They are rare. It's in rare categories then. And most questions that you would be solving is not something that would be in rare category. Your interview questions, your coding questions, coding test questions are not generally from topics that are rare. I have very rarely seen questions of rare topics. It's very weird, but rare topics to rare ही questions आएंगे, right? So it's going to be one of the major topics only in most cases. And the moment you see that this is a partition problem, the first thing it should hit is, oh, which one can I hit? Maybe DP. If you have seen my DP workshop on YouTube, you realize in DP there is this form 2, which talks about exactly partitioning, right? There is a DP which talks about form 2, and it talks about exactly partitioning only. Okay, so partition करने के लिए maybe form 2 DP use हो सकता है, right? If that is the case, then we will try to maybe start. Then you have done elimination and you feel like, oh, my hunch is saying that it might be form 2. Yeah. Can we do it or not, Akash? That you can only find after exploring it, right? Like only once you explore it, you can figure out, oh, I cannot do it with maybe form 2. I don't know that yet, right? So out of these topics, I do not see binary search, because if I know the answer, if I know the total cost, then finding how do I distribute that cost is a question in itself, and it's very, very hard. So binary search is probably the least probability. Binary search happens on questions where there is minimize the maximum, maximize the minimum. These kind of things are there. In those questions, binary search has high probability, right? you're exploring right now. And in exploring, it might be a DP problem. And in DP, you have learned the form 2, which is there in my DP workshop, that it might be something that deals with form 2 because it deals on partition. Okay. This partition word gives you, maybe it's a form 2 problem. So you then go into the realm that, oh, maybe let's try to solve this question with form 2. And this is how you solve. Like first you possibilize, like you find out all the possibilities and you then explore ki maybe DP se kuch form 2 ban raha hai, and then you explore with that. Now, if this is a form 2 problem, then we have simple steps. If you have read my DP workshop, you should be able to do form 2 very easily. That DP of I will tell me what is the optimal cost of ending here. DP of I will tell me what is the optimal cost to partition 0 to I. So I can possibly maybe make the last cut at J. Okay. DP of I will be, maybe the last cut happens at J, right? So DP of J, what is the minimum cost to split the 0 to J segment, plus whatever is the cost of I to J. Now I to J cost will be calculated based on this if there is 0 number of things. No, I mean, because DP is a very structured topic. I feel most people think, bro, I think you figured out the solution by now. No, not really. I haven't yet, actually. Like, I haven't yet. Okay. Like this DP, the way I'm writing this is pure template. Some people come and tell me, Vivek, DP hard hai, DP to pata hi nahi kaise hoga. I feel if you have mastered the forms that I've taught in the DP workshop, okay, then this is something there. Now there is one more thing that is written in this problem. If a segment has even length, you may split into two continuous segments of equal length, and the cost of the split is sum of the cost of segments. There is one more thing that is given. If a segment has even length, you may split it into two continuous segments of equal length, and the cost of the split is sum of the cost of the resulting segments. So if something is an even length, you might split it into two parts, and the split is the sum of cost of the resulting segments. Yep. So basically in this question, you're saying that, then why is this labeled hard? Yeah. क्या फालतू क्वेश्चन दिया है कॉन्टेस्ट में? Okay, chalo, we'll solve the better problem. Yeah, I just thought that it will be a good problem. बहुत फर्जी है हट. चलो, we'll solve the better version that this condition is not given and you can make any number of partitions. This is फालतू क्वेश्चन, बट दिमाग खराब कर दिया. ऐसा ऐसे खराब क्वेश्चन कैसे सेट कर रहे लोग? If it's an even case, then like, yeah, this is why you should do the read step properly. I estimated lead code to be better. I thought it was last problem, so it might be good, but ये तो बहुत ही फालतू question है. The question says that, the actual question says that you can only divide when it's an even. अरे तो fixed है ना फिर तो, then you just check for even, and if you recursively divide, you have to just solve the recursive parts separately. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'll not solve the version that we are taking. Assume that this statement is not there in the question. Okay, and let's now try to solve the question. This is way more interesting, I feel. That made the question, like, probably in the next contest you might see this new version in the next question. Okay. And constraint, maybe we can try for n up to 10 to the power 3. Second is n up to 10 to the power 5. We can try both version. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah. Review तो नहीं हो रहा, ठीक है? Let's think of, given the question is, what is the optimal way to partition such that this is the cost? This is the cost that you incur, and you have to divide the you can divide it in any way. Okay. Those who have solved this question, they know that why I'm saying that this is a bad question. इसमें कुछ है नहीं question में. They just made it super easy. You are given an array, you have to partition the array in such a way that you get the minimum possible cost. Okay. 4 out of 4 हो गए इस बार. Very good. Those who are saying कि भैया you are laughing at lead code hard questions, then you haven't seen my streams before probably. ये तो ट्रेलर ही था मेरे हिसाब से. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe let's think about it. So the question says that we have to find the DP of this to this. This is how you will declare the form 2 formulation. कि भाई मेरे को इसको break करना है from 0 to I. Maybe the last block will be this together. So whatever is the cost based on either this or this, the cost will get added. Plus whatever is the optimal way to break this, that will be given by this DP. So this is a DP that you write, and this cost you can calculate in O of 1 because you can just calculate the number of x in this using prefix sums. You have tactics like prefix sums that helps you to calculate anything quickly, right? So this can be found very like you can loop also, and you can find using prefix sums also. This should be very fast. And then this, if you write this DP, you will write the transition. So this j will be, there will be a loop for j less than I, right? So this is the state and transition. So from this you will say that it's an O of n square DP. Yeah, correct. अरे नहीं हम लोग वो कॉन्टेस्ट वाला क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं कर रहे. कॉन्टेस्ट में बस इवन में स्प्लिट था. आई एम सेइंग यू कैन स्प्लिट एनीवे. Hi भैया, Ayush from B12 reached Guardian on lead code thanks to you. Really lot of thanks to you. Chalo, very nice. Yes, Ayush. Super happy that you have reached Guardian. Win, right? I think काफी टाइम तक आप कुछ चीज के लिए फाइट मारो और वो मिल जाता तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है मेरे हिसाब से, तो है ना. Can you solve AdCoder beginner EF if you have time? They are also pretty standard and educational CF rounds. Yes. My purpose today was very different. I just wanted to show you the 3 things that you should do. ठीक है. बाकी questions तो हम कितने भी solve कर सकते हैं, and we can keep solving n number of problems. But let's see. So this will be a O of n square solution. How many of you are able to understand this? कि ये जो हम लोग, we saw the problem, from there we visualized this, from there we thought that this is an optimization problem, from there we understood that this might be DP. In DP it might be form 2 because it's a partition. Because it's form 2, then I'm going to do this in my mind, and then this will lead to O of n square. This is your thought process. This is your thought process. ये सब ऐसे जो लोग बोलते हैं कि विवेक हार्ड क्वेश्चन लोग कैसे सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू शो पीपल की people, it's not like some people just suddenly come and they are able to solve these. They build their mental model in a way that they can think about questions in this way, that they can break down the problems, they can detect which topic quickly, they can understand the forms, they have learned the framework of the topics, and they can detect the forms, and then they can do this. I read your channel description and I feel bad I ever touched DSA. नहीं यार, people who think that DSA is bad, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's a very good thing to learn. ठीक है. It's probably the only way you can train your brain in this brain rot era जिसमें AI सब काम कर रहा है and you are doing no like जैसे होता है ना कि तुम, there was a age when people had to go to farms and do work, and then now since there is no physical work, people are going to gym. Computer programming is that mental gym for you. There was a time when people had to use a lot of brain. ना तुम्हारी assignment में brain लग रही है, ना तुम्हारा कहीं दिमाग लग रहा है, right? So you have to do something that keeps your brain muscles pumped, है ना? नहीं तो फिर you will lose that ability to think altogether. And there is nothing better than competitive programming, in my opinion, in today's time, which can, in a short amount of time, keep doing that muscle building for your brain. See, got offer in Amdocs and QAD both full time. What should I ask myself in order to get the right decision? कुछ नहीं. Talk to a senior in both company and decide based on that. Based on the layoff conditions that are happening, ask which company, which team is more safe, and according to join that. Can we expect a graph workshop? See, graph workshop is very hard because DP I could teach in 1 week. Graph is like probably like 4 weeks plus. Okay. I'm 17 on lead code and specialization on CF, trying to reach 9-10 expert by May. Very good. That's a good target to have. Nice. Okay. So this is something that you can possibly do. And this will be an O of n square solution. Can we make it faster? And then you have to, like, if this is slow, then you come to topics like optimization. I don't know how many of you have learned optimizations in DP, right? In DP, there are multiple different optimizations, but probably in this question, when you think about it, that suppose from here, I'm trying to do, if there are a lot of zeros, when I see this cost, this is where observation starts coming into picture. The step 3, how do I make it faster? The only way you can do that is possibly if you understand this expression better. Okay. Only if you understand this expression better. Okay, there is a portion which contains 111,101, right? We basically are dealing with the possibility that zeros can be kind of counted together in a flat cost zero. मतलब यहाँ पर अगर तुम्हारे पास बहुत सारे zeros है, if there are a lot of zeros together, you can basically take them together in a segment and get a flat cost. But if you're taking a 1 with it, then you are getting the number of ones multiplied by the length also in that. Okay. I don't know, like it might or might not work because the length multiplied by it's not that easy, I feel. Okay. So basically there is like a free cost for zeros. So what I can see that when I'm at this I, there might be bunch of zeros. If I'm considering taking 1, taking 2 is legit free for me, right? If you are taking 1 0, it's better that you take 2 0 3 0, as long as zeros are there until the first one appears, right? Does this make sense to everyone? This is no. Don't try to bring expressions very fast. Okay, try to generate all this is see, this is why I am able to solve some harder constructive problems, because I draw like this. I draw that this is the DP optimization that I'm trying to think. So at the end, I'm building this. Maybe zeros are free for me. Zeros are free. So there is, like, if basically there is only one transition to the first one, rest all you should always take together. Okay. This is their only option as J, where it is all zeros. People are like, Vivek, are you predicting the future contest? Not really. I just put the topic. I thought it had happened, but I forgot that I had like this weekend it's scheduled. So we are discussing the 492's last problem with changed constraints, that we don't have the even wala condition, this even wala faltu condition jo bhi tha. Like we're discussing without that essentially, right? So this is there, and then we have to deal with, like, there are different possibility of form 2, that from here now you have some 1 in the segment. Where do you want to make a break such that this is optimal, right? Okay, where do you want to make this a break, because there will be at least one. Okay. Okay, so how do you, so O of n square solution is possible, but can we try to find some faster solution. भैया B12 में हूँ, अभी ऑप्टिमाइजेशन नहीं किया हूँ, असाइनमेंट में ऐड नहीं है, नहीं नहीं वो बाद में करना है, it's second thing. Yeah. So it only matters till you have, so the expression, the cost of this will be like, if this is I and this is the place where you're partitioning, it will be I minus j, this is the length, multiplied by the number of ones. So I can write it like this: if I build up prefix sum of count of 1, prefix sum of I minus prefix sum of j, into some cost, into some fixed cost, plus dp of j. This is the expression, this is the expression that we are possibly trying to optimize. There we go, CHT. I don't think it's as simple as that, like the way you guys are saying. Even I am not able to see where is CHT immediately in this. There are two terms here, no? Like prefix sum of j and I sub mixed है. So let's try to break it down. I don't know. रुक जाओ. So this is j, this is dp of I, right? This is what you will write in terms of this. And then I can write something like, there is some constant part, there is a dp of j, some other parts, and then so you will have dp of j, this is a constant, so plus j into prefix of j. I don't think it will be a pure expression that we can build. Okay. And there will be some constants I into this, but there is an I times prefix of j and j times prefix of j. So there will be this weird expression that you have to optimize. CHT means convexal optimizations. Okay. CHT means convexal optimization. In one of my last streams, I was kind of discussing this. So this is not a pure homogeneous expression. So probably we cannot directly do a CHT in this problem, right? One way we can try to think of is, okay, only the number of ones matter. So you can stop here, you can stop here, and you can see if this part is fixed, like how many ones you are taking, then you can always try to figure out the best quickly using. अगर वो नहीं चल तो should we test monotonicity of function? Yeah, monotonicity is there, but with plus dp of j, I don't know whether it will be monotonous or not, right? I'm trying to think what can be possible way in which we do it. Okay. Also, we can try to think of one more. So this seems like a place where we can stop thinking. Okay. This feels like it's not one of the techniques that I've seen earlier. Maybe like go back. Maybe like go back. Okay, this is a place I was thinking of optimization. I came to this place. My brain says this might be there. Okay, come back. Okay, dp, I could make it O of n square. अभी कुछ उससे better नहीं दिख रहा है. Okay, maybe. Okay, don't be like too stuck in one topic. If you feel like you're getting stuck, maybe you want to backtrack in this tree of thinking. See, nothing in whatever I've done till now is unstructured. People approach questions in a very unstructured way. तुम्हारा thought process एकदम random ऐसे भागेगा तो solution solve नहीं होता है कभी भी, right? I almost approach this in a very structured way in my mind, and this is what people who are good are doing, just fast. Okay, so then my brain will quickly come back, and maybe binary search is not an option for me. Maths maybe, but there are like too many constants. Whenever constants come, I don't think it's generally a maths expression. Maybe some greedy strategy. So I'll try to think, right? Suppose there is some bunch of ones, bunch of zeros, bunch of ones, right? If I take it as a full partition, I'll get like whatever the length is, right? into x into some c1. Okay, but if I break apart these ones into smaller chunks, this will be a L1 into x into c1, which is smaller than the bigger value. Like if this is L into x into c1, for this portion I can think of there is an L1. Let's try to break it down. Let's try to think about it a little bit more. Let's say this is some L1 length, L2 length, L3 length. So if this is a full segment, the cost you will get is 4 into L1 plus L2 plus L3 into some C1. Okay. But if I break this into 3 portions and trying to keep zeros together, okay, it's over here I'll get 2 into L1 into C1, which is better than this 4 L1 C1 term. Here I'll get 2 into L3 into C1 term, which is much better than this term, right? And then here we have a flat cost, some C2, and this has to be just better than some weird term. Okay. Bhaiya, I did this in live contest in Courtesy. That is a different question. We have changed the question. We have said that event division is no longer true. Okay? Event division makes the problem very, very obvious. कि भाई एक ही तो तरीका है break करने का. There's nothing. So in this case, these two things are saving us. The only thing that is getting us a bigger cost is possibly this flat cost wala thing. मतलब सब कुछ कम रहा है. This is decreasing. Okay. The only thing that is happening here is that we might get a flat cost here. And you might see one more thing. Like if there is some 1 and 1. Okay, 1 and 1. What I can see over here is instead of taking 2 together, like where you will get 2 into C1, I think if I break it into 2 segments, I'll get 1 into C1 plus 1 into C1, no? So ek to first observation is like it's always better to take ones in a single chunk. Do you see this observation? अगर ones का कभी group नहीं बनाना है, अगर ये है तो इससे अच्छा तो यही ले लो. Does this make sense to everyone? This is how you slowly build observation. कि एक बड़ा वाला chunk को कैसे break करे, पता नहीं, मुझे पता नहीं चला. I could not get any observation. Okay, 1 maybe I can break it down into smaller chunks and it's always better than this. So why not always use smaller chunks of 1? This is one observation. So this is what you add to the observation list. And now we have to think about कि 0 है तो क्या ये 0 का मैं like suppose एक 0 1 है. So there might be one thing. One is either you make it like this. In this case you will get 1 into C1 and here you will get C2, or you might take it together and you will get 2 into C1. Okay, 2 into C1 instead of C2. Which means, and if you have more zeros here, so per zero you are kind of getting some cost. Like agar ek 1 bhi hai, so I can take, what is my options? My options is I'll get C2 plus C1, like only one C1, or I can do C2 plus 2 C1, or I can basically do, it doesn't make sense to do this. I can do all of it, and in that case I'll get 5 times C1. This is my other option. Okay, like either ये better होगा, either पूरा zeros को अलग रखो and 1 एक separate रखो, or maybe merge these zeros into one of the ones. In that case, the cost increase that you are getting is essentially just 5 times C1. That's the increase that you're getting. So The only thing for a group of zeros that I can try to think about is if I keep them individual, I will get C2, which is the flat cost. And if I do not want to keep them to individual, I might merge, like, because अभी तो पूरा दुनिया ऐसा है कि सारे ones को हमने separate कर दिया है. There are bunch of zeros and there are bunch of ones. ठीक है, पूरा world ऐसा है, right? So if this is the case, we are getting flat. This is C1, this is C1, this is C2, this is C1, this is C1. This is the whole cost. And we have just proved कि one को merge करके तो कोई फायदा ही नहीं है. Okay. Now, the only thing we have to see is that if this C2 we want to change, the only possibility is we have to merge it with some C1. And हमने यहाँ पर देखा कि अगर ये जो zeros थे, इसको स्प्लिट करना दोनों तरफ से तो फायदेमंद था ही, क्योंकि दोनों तरफ कॉस्ट डिक्रीज हो रहा था. तो इट्स ओनली ऑप्टिमल टू मर्ज इट विद वन ऑफ द ग्रुप्स. सो इट इज आइदर C2 प्लस C1, मतलब इधर C2 जाएगा इसके लिए, या फिर इट विल बी द लेंथ इनटू C1. The cost of each run of zeros will be either length into C1 or C2. No, I think we can just do a single, yeah. I mean, single O of n process, we can do it, right? Matlab, you don't even need to do a DP. Kyunki pura array, like whatever the question is, like 1 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1. What I'll do is I'll just simply take the array and break it like this. Right? And for this, we'll calculate as C1, C1, C2, C1. ये तो बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन सॉल्व हो गया. I did not know I could solve this problem before the stream. I just drew it on the spot. C1, C2, C1. ठीक है? This is the general cost right now. And then we have to just see कि what better can we do. Either C2 करे, या I can merge this with this, and instead of this C2, I'll get a C1. Like this group will be 2 C1 cost. So either you will pay C2 for this, or you will merge it in this and pay 2 C1. Either you will pay C2 for this, or you will merge it into C1 and you will pay 3 C1. So for every length of zeros, you will just count the number of ones multiplied by C1, plus for every run of zero of length L, just take max of C2, length into C1. जिसका जो भी मैक्स है वो सिंपल आंसर में ऐड करते रहो. दैट शुड बी योर O of n solution. This is how you solve, like I can swear that this is first time I'm solving this problem, and this is how you generate observations. This is how you generate observations. जो मैं तुम लोगों को बता रहा था यहाँ पर जो थर्ड वाला है, and this is possibly, हाँ मतलब फॉर्म 2 से हमने एक्सप्लोर किया, बट फॉर्म 2 करने की जरूरत थी ना, बिकॉज नाउ द ऑब्जर्वेशन सेज, देखो 1 1 कभी मर्ज नहीं होगा, और 1 स्प्लिट है तो उसको स्प्लिट करो पहले, वो बेटर है. बट दे जीरोस के लिए हमें फ्लैट कॉस्ट मिल रहा है. इट माइट बी दैट इट्स बेटर टू मर्ज इट विद समवन टू गेट लेसर कॉस्ट. तो अगर यहां पर बंच ऑफ जीरोस है एंड एक 1 है, सो यू कैन गेट फ्लैट कॉस्ट फॉर ऑल जीरोस प्लस 1 1, और यू कैन मर्ज ऑल दीज जीरोस इनटू द 1 टू गेट दिस. Okay, so this is how case by case you build. मतलब I was just building case by case, nothing else. इसमें कुछ मैंने नया नहीं सोचा. This was pure case by case building. कि इसके लिए क्या हो रहा है. I could not figure out a logic. Okay, let's see only ones, only zeros followed by ones, and I was building the logic. And legit, why did I go into this? See, most people who are, let's say, this is the difference. I'm just, this session I just wanted to share this only. मतलब कि जो different levels होता है ना CP में, DSA में, this is what differentiates higher rated people. Like why am, like probably I am higher rated in code forces or different things. Okay, because ये जो observation वाला part है ना, this is very strong for me. यहाँ पर जो मैंने 3 part बोला, see how quickly I was able to generate the observation part. ओरिजिनल प्रॉब्लम में इट वाज अ वेरी डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन. इट वाज इवन लेंथ पे बस स्प्लिट कर रहे थे, एंड वो भी इक्वल पार्ट्स में. दैट इज लाइक वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन कंपैरेटिवली. नाउ दैट यू नो दिस इज ग्रीडी एंड इट्स ad hoc solution, this is also very easy to code, but like it was not easy to think. At least I could not think of it barely, like without seeing this proof right now in front of me. So this is what you generate. Okay, this is what you generate for a problem. And pure, this is what eventually differentiates. मतलब मेरे को लगता है जो 1000 rated है coder, मतलब I'm not talking about lead code, I'm talking about code forces, but somebody who is 1000 rated has probably solved, like has probably built the intuition for one. Somebody who gets to 1600 1700 has probably cracked two, and somebody who has 2100 has probably cracked three. Okay, cracked मतलब कुछ नहीं होता है, like you can have harder forms of everything, but this is the difference in levels. This is what you have to slowly improve, and this is what you have to train. जब लोग बोलते हैं ना कि विवेक प्रॉब्लम्स पे हमें ट्रेन करना है all, this is what you have to train over time. कि देखो, there is a certain amount of practice. वो तो I think anybody who is doing AZ or even if they are studying on their own, तुम DP सीखोगे ही, उसके सारे forms. If you watch my workshop, you will learn all the forms and finite चीजें, मतलब the concepts are finite, है ना? Concepts and techniques are finite. Till a certain rating range, till 1900, there are enough techniques. एक standard rated ही है ना? So suppose you're like, for folks who are in AZ, I think once you see all the AZ techniques, probably CF पे भी या फिर lead code weekly पे भी सारे questions उसी techniques के होते हैं. It's not like too out of the box. But वही है कि a problem can be made only harder by the virtue of how hard it is to visualize the first step, or how hard it's to draw the key diagram, number one. Number two, how hard it is to explore this. मतलब how quickly are you able to eliminate Binary search नहीं होगा, maths नहीं होगा, अच्छा DP होगा, तो I explored this much, but then I came back, and then I have to go back to greedy, right? Because the way I do it is, essentially, I just explore DP, I just explore greedy last. Okay. Lead code पे तो सारे होते हैं जो AZ में, मतलब if you're covering AZ's techniques, तो like you're overpowered for, I think, lead code. Except some ad hoc problems, I agree for that, but then apart from that, I feel तो techniques तो नए नहीं आ रहे होंगे, वही same DP optimization जो पढ़ाया है वही सब आता है, कुछ बाहर तो नहीं आ सकता, even in company interviews or coding tests and everything. So this is not really that hard, but knowing this DP techniques and all, this is a structured practice only. Can you observation was nothing but you try to see that if there are all ones, it's better to break them into segments. Number one. Number two, if there are bunch of zeros followed by bunch of ones, you observe that you should ideally partition them like this, these ones. And then for these zeros, you have two choice. You either make this flat cost plus C1, 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 or there is no point in merging them together. It's better that you merge these together and you will get length, which is the number of zeros, into C1 plus C1 for this, because length is L plus 1. तो इसके लिए तो सेम ही कॉस्ट रहा C1. The cost changed for these zeros. So either C2 or the length times C1. That is the difference between these two. And then if you have bunch of ones, bunch of zeros, bunch of ones, since there is a product in length and number of ones, it is never optimal to group ones together because we have to minimize. तो ones को तो पहले split out कर दो. And then decide for each zeros, would you want to merge it with a one by taking this, or keep it independent like this, give a flat cost. Flat cost देना है कि merge करना है. It will be dependent on the length. तो length into C1 बड़ा होगा तो छोटा होगा तो वो लेंगे, नहीं तो C2 लेंगे. Ad hoc greedy में tunnel vision होता है, आसान है. To track back is very difficult. Yeah, I mean, start with simpler cases. I also started with a harder case. No, I started with a harder case, and then I came back to simpler cases. Right? This is what you do. This is what I want to see. Vivek, question solve कैसे होता है? Like how to read. I'll rechange the like I don't know. Like I did not think about this session would come out to be this good. But to be very honest, probably if somebody watches this today's session, they'll understand कि actually problem solving जो है ना, जो लोग बोलते हैं DSA मेरे को improve करना है beyond. देखो एक level तो है. till this 1600 on CF और एक ऐसे नाइट वाला लेवल तक जो होता है CF लीड कोड पे, है ना, ये जो यहाँ तक है, ये तो प्योर नॉलेज से ही पहुंच सकते, लाइक इफ यू बिकम गुड एट नॉलेज एंड ऑल, आई थिंक जैसे AZ कोर्स में जो कवर कर रहे हैं, या फिर इफ यू लर्न ऑल द टॉपिक्स वेल, you will reach this level. There is nothing bad in that. But slowly, if you want to grow further, तो ये जो मैंने तुम्हें आज दिखाया, this is what a good coder does, just faster, or maybe they like generate things in parallel, or they can explore things much faster. But कर हर कोई यही रहा है. Okay. They might quickly get an intuition कि नहीं DP नहीं होगा, so they might save some time in exploring this, because this count is a very weird thing in here, right? मैं सच बताऊं, मुझे लगता है मेरी नॉलेज की वजह से ही रेटिंग है. आई एम वेरी बैड एट एड हॉक ऑब्जर्वेशन बेस्ड प्रॉब्लम. जैसे आई वुडंट हैव बीन एबल टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन ऑन माय ओन. आई डोंट थिंक सो. प्रॉब्ली इफ यू वुड बी इन अ कॉन्टेस्ट सेटअप देन हो सकता है, like when somebody shows to it feels like that. But ठीक है, I understand, like this is an pure observation or ad hoc problem. This is what you'll have to slowly improve next. मतलब once you reach, I think for Laksh or Jazimus from the chat, like you have already reached that level कि guardian हो गया and ये हो गया. So now from here to here, or what probably senior coders are able to do much better on CF and all is this, ये जो मैंने अभी करा. And this is truly, अगर मुझे कोई पूछता नहीं विवेक एक 1900 और 2100 में 2200 हायर रेटेड कोडर में क्या डिफरेंस होता है, उसको मैं लेजिट नेक्स्ट बार से ये स्ट्रीम का लिंक भेजूंगा एंड दे वुड अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या डिफरेंस है. दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन समबडी हु हैज प्रॉब्ली रीच 1900, बिकॉज वो 1900 यहां तक कर लेगा. ये डीपी वीपी जो भी मैंने बोला, ऑप्टिमाइजेशन एंड ऑल, दीज आर ऑल स्टडीएबल टॉपिक्स. मतलब यू कैन स्टडी दिस एंड इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है. मतलब देयर इज अ फाइनाइट स्टफ, बट बियॉन्ड दैट दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू स्लोली इंप्रूव. And it can happen in parallel. It's not like कि तुम्हें पहले वो करना है, ये करना. ठीक है, I'll edit the title for sure. Okay. So this was the purpose of today's live stream. I have a meet at 10:30. I just wanted to pop in and just discuss certain problems and just solve. And probably like this was a very good problem. This will come up in some next question. Yeah, I think this is a very weird expression and I don't see a direct way of optimizing this, because this DP is variable. Maybe some monotonicity might make it solvable, but I don't think for now. I'll think in that direction. Yeah, of course, like I cannot solve all problems. There are certain problems where I might also not, like I might be able to generate till certain point, but कुछ और key observations जो मैं generate नहीं कर पाया, right? Tomorrow 2 classes in B14. Yes, absolutely. Like tomorrow there's modulo and stuff. So we'll start with maths. One more problem. We'll have it in the next stream. You have your contest tomorrow and day after tomorrow, right? Complete it and then we'll have a live stream on Monday and we'll discuss it, right? But this stream possibly tells you a difference between 1,000 rated coder and somebody who is 1600 and somebody who is 2100. कि क्या difference होता है thought process में. This is what somebody who is senior is able to do. And believe me, लोग सोचते हैं कि विवेक मैं कैसे डेवलप करूं ये चीजें. You have to mimic. When I was a junior coder, I used to see people who are good, their codes, their thinking process. I used to see their videos. I used to see how they write code, and I used to steal. I used to mimic them. कि अगली बार मैं भी ऐसा सोचूंगा, ऐसा करूंगा, right? The more you slowly mimic and you adapt to the process for yourself, slowly you start becoming senior. ऐसा ही होता है ना? तो बोलते हैं ना से कि like fake it till you make it. Fake it तो नहीं कर सकते, but then you can mimic as much as possible, and then you can actually become good in that way. I used to, like, some people ask me, Vivek, how you used to practice. This was one of the things that I used to do in my initial years. I used to figure out who are the top coders in India, and I used to find out their submissions on different platforms, because I used to think, it's not really true, but I used to think everybody is a function of the problems they have solved. Everybody is a function of प्रॉब्लम्स दे हैव सॉल्व. तो अगर एक रेड कोडर है या फिर एक अच्छा कोडर है इंडिया का, अगर उसने जो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किया मैंने सारे सॉल्व कर लिए, तो आई विल बिकम एज गुड एज देम. इट माइट नॉट बी ट्रू, but it did help me in improving a lot of things. There's this I don't know if you most people who are senior might know or who have experienced. There's this coder called Jatin Yadav in India. He's extremely good at most of competitive programming, and he was a senior of mine. I used to follow his profile, and I saw that he had solved a lot of good maths problem on Spoj and all. And at that point in time, there was not many resources to tell कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है, right? अभी तो YouTube पे आके मैं बता रहा हूँ, कोई बताता नहीं था उस टाइम पे. So I figured out like Spoj पे उसने कौन कौन से क्वेश्चन किया, I just opened them up and I solved. And somewhere or the other, like probably I did not become as good as him. I can agree to that, but probably that improved my maths a lot because मैंने try किया वो mimic करने का. If somebody tries to mimic, I'll tell you, अगर तुम next 50 प्रॉब्लम है मैंने आज जो अभी इस स्ट्रीम पे करा, तुम अगर इसको मिमिक करने की भी कोशिश करोगे, you will improve very sharply. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Like everyone works this way. It's just people don't accept it. People don't want to accept. People are, a lot of people are like कि विवेक नहीं हो रहा है ना? अरे नहीं हो रहा है, नहीं पता करो कि तुम्हारा क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्यों, why are you getting lost in a problem? नहीं समझ में आ रहा, क्यों नहीं समझ में आ रहा? Because you are not doing these 3 steps clearly. ये 3 steps कैसे करना है? I just showed you everything, and I showed you what is the difference between this thought process also. है ना? Higher rated coders from this O of n square, जो एक 1300 1400 rated coder है वो इसके आगे नहीं जा पाएगा. This is a barrier. इसके आगे वही जा पाएगा जिसका 1600 plus rating है, because they would have seen some DP optimization or my lectures. Okay, so this is what essentially all of DSA CP is. पता नहीं मैं इसका rename करूंगा, but I have to think of some good name. This has become like a master class now. I did not expect it to come out to so good. Okay, I just was thinking, because I was talking to a student today in a one-on-one call, and he was talking कि Vivek, I get lost. Okay, lost होने का कुछ नहीं है यार, it's a structured thing. जैसे lost होने का कुछ भी नहीं है इस दुनिया में, ठीक है? And it's never lost, it's never too late. भैया I am 4th semester में आ गया हूँ, DSA कैसे करूँ? Okay. Okay, chalo. Jasimus has suggested a name. I'll keep that. Okay, cool. We'll have to wrap this up over here now. I hope you guys got some value. We'll meet again on Monday. We'll have a stream again on Monday, and we'll discuss some new problems and we'll solve ideas and stuff. And I think that's there. But yeah, will you recommend any underrated book of DSA that level of thought that has where this level of thought has been explained? I don't think so. People have not written that much of deep books in DSA. Mostly people have written concepts and content. I was thinking of writing one, but it got stopped in between because I don't know how many people will read it. But yeah, one book that I definitely recommend is CP3. But how much minimum rating on Codeflix should I be able to solve to mostly solve all problems on lead code? All problems is very hard. There are some questions that I might not be able to solve, but mostly I feel like if you are 1800-ish on code forces, then you would find yourself to be comfortable in the 4th problems of lead code weekly contests. So do you think it's fair to flex CP as a badge of honor? Yeah, it's fine. See, the real flex is if you put time to something, you become good at that, if you can do that. Okay. So if you're putting in time in CP and you're improving in it, there's nothing, it's not like you should stop from flexing. Okay. Yeah. अगर खुद से करा है तो क्यों नहीं भाई? Exactly. Dev task form submit किया, ठीक है? It's getting scheduled. Like I think 30 people are in pipeline right now. Probably it will get scheduled in this week only. Laksh, don't worry. चला लोगों का इंटरव्यू चल रहा है अभी. So he's asking about placement cell essentially of EZ. So yeah. So D shop prep tips through premium, please. I'm sorry, maintaining from platform right now. Okay, very nice. D shop prep tips from premium. D shop तो यार core CS go very well prepared. I feel OS. Oops. Go very well prepared. If you want, you can watch the LLD's playlist, Shubham's playlist of LLD on AZ. That's like the best thing you can do for D shop, in my opinion. Oops and OS, please prepare very well. Pupil नहीं बन पा रहा हूँ 600 प्रॉब्लम क्या, should I focus on dev? I did 200 on CF. Okay. Yes. मेरा OS वाला, it's like a high level view. Plus, if you want to go a little deeper, watch, like, go through the notes. Video is like a high level view. Plus, the notes should be enough. Okay. अभी कुछ कंपनीज आई है. आई एम अ प्रीमियम स्टूडेंट, could I talk to you, could I approach my current situation? Yes, if you are a easy premium student, you can always mail at support@AlgoZenith and the team will schedule a one-on-one with me. सर सिस्टम डिजाइन कंटेंट यूट्यूब पे नहीं आएगा क्या? यार आएगा यार. वी आर प्लानिंग अ लॉट ऑफ कंटेंट. आई थिंक द सिस्टम डिजाइन वाला थिंग इज अ लिटिल डिलेड, बट देन उसके पहले कुछ और कंटेंट आएगा, एंड आई थिंक यू गाइस वुड एंजॉय अ लॉट. I don't know if you guys get a hint from things, but if you watch my recent shorts, you'll get some idea कि next content YouTube पे क्या आएगा. ठीक है. And I was thinking of making some playlist, but instead somebody suggested me a very interesting thing, that you can make very good shorts. So if you guys have not been following me on shorts, probably some of those shorts would be very interesting. भैया एलएलडी और एचएलडी में से कौन सा करना चाहिए? अगर डेव कर लिया है तो एचएलडी कर सकते हो, अगर नहीं किया है तो पहले एलएलडी करो. सो द ट्रैक इज डीएसए, देन ऊप्स, देन एलएलडी, या फिर डेव, कोर सीएस एंड देन एचएलडी. दो अलग अलग पैरेलल ट्रैक्स है. यू कैन डू एनी वन ऑफ देम. Yeah, actually I feel AI makes people dumber. I agree to that. So I'll have to join the meet that I have now. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I hope you guys you have gotten some value out of this. I'll rename the stream nicely, and I hope everybody would. I wish more people would see this, but okay. Anybody who watches it would get value. Chalo, that would be all from my side today. Thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll meet again on Monday and we'll discuss a lot of more things. Okay. Thanks for joining in. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Keep enjoying. Give the contest this weekend. Art Coder and Lead Code weekly and bi-weekly. We'll meet on Monday and we'll discuss things. Okay. Chalo. Bye-bye. The form for placement cell being closed. No, it will again start. Don't worry. Is it the placement cell will not close? वो CF भी है, CF है, Art Coder है, Lead Code weekly है, bi-weekly है. Best of luck for all the contests. Bye-bye.